Hi everyone, welcome to Try 3 Science for week 7. You've made it to week 7, so after this week there's only 2 more left, short trimester. So week 7 is about energy pyramids. So we've been talking a lot about energy, different types of energy, and really looking at systems that, through the eyes of physics. Now we're going to take a little turn and we're going to look at energy systems through the eyes of biology. So we're going to talk about energy pyramids. It's probably something that you have some experience with. So if you've ever studied food chains or food webs, or maybe you've studied energy pyramids, we're going to look at how energy is now transferred in living or biological systems. And really, that's what allows us to be here, because in this food chain, right here, you see the lion at the top of the food chain. But really, as human beings, we are at the top of almost every food chain on the planet. So this week we will be using a Gizmos simulation. That will be Monday and Tuesday's assignment. We will be using CK12 section 2.8 and a couple Google Forms to look at this. So let's see what our assignment is. I want to give you a couple week 7 reminders. Again, continue to watch your Edpuzzle videos. If you don't watch the full Edpuzzle video and turn work in, you're going to get that back ungraded, and so you'll have to watch and complete the Edpuzzle video before I grade that for you. And this one is super important because I'm going to really show you how to go through this Gizmo simulation, and you'll get some important directions by watching this Edpuzzle, so it'll definitely pay off. Join me in office hours to get help with your assignments. If this confuses you at all, please join me 10 to 12 and 1 to 3 every day. You can come and see me. Only 3 weeks left. That is 2 weeks after this week, so we are nearly finished with our trimester. And please don't forget about our pre-honors meeting this Wednesday at 3 o'clock. So let's get to the assignment. So your objectives for this one: to observe energy transfers, this time now in a food chain. Instead of systems that are kind of inanimate objects, we're looking at living objects, living things, living beings in a food chain, and how we transfer energy within that food chain. We want to be able to classify organisms as types of producers or consumers, and in this experiment we want to look at changing populations in a food chain, and then determining how those changes affect the food chain as a whole. What does that do to the things that are below and above organisms in a food chain? So you are now watching the Edpuzzle video, and we are going to go to the Food Chain Gizmo Part 1. So in your assignment, you'll see this is a Google Doc. Now, there are 2 parts. You'll do Part 1 Monday, and then there'll be another Google Doc for Part 2 on Tuesday. So I'm going to show you this in a minute. I'm going to go to a split screen. So you're going to see a blue link that you'll click on to find your Gizmo. And then you'll open up your Google Doc, and you can kind of have them open side by side. You'll conduct the lab simulation, and anytime you see an orange box, this is really important, everything that you need to respond to is in an orange box. So anytime you see an orange box, you're going to need to type something, give some kind of answer or response. And then when you're all finished with this, you're going to click Turn It In. So let me set up the screen, and I'll show you how you can go about doing your Gizmo for today. Okay, so I have a split screen here. If you guys don't know how to set up your split screen, I can show you how to do that if you want to come to office hours. So the split screen will really help you so that you can go through your directions over here, and then you can just follow them over here on the Gizmo side. So your excuse me, your directions tell you to click on the blue link. Let's get this out of here. Click on the blue link title above. So this title is actually your link, and if it prompts you to log into your Gizmos class, make sure you do that. You don't want to do the free version. You have a time limit. Make sure you log into your Gizmos class. If it doesn't log you in automatically, you can log in through Google. Follow the instructions to go through the simulation, respond to the questions and prompts in the orange boxes. So the first part that you're going to do here, this is prior knowledge. So you just want to read these questions and answer them without doing anything in the Gizmo. So do these before using the Gizmo. Okay, so producers are organisms that do not need to eat other organisms to obtain energy. So where do they get their energy from? And in this food chain, what are the producers? And consumers must eat organisms for energy. Which organisms are consumers in this food chain? So up here it tells you that this gizmo has hawks, snakes, rabbits, and grass. In this simulation, the hawks eat the snakes eat the rabbits, and the rabbits eat the grass. So when you log in to your simulation, this is what you see. See the hawks, the snakes, the rabbits, and the grass. So answer those questions before, just based on what you already know about food chains and food webs. So then you're going to do the warm-up. So in this simulation, these are population numbers. In this food chain, in this ecosystem right here, there are 42 hawks, 278 snakes. I hate snakes. 2,566 rabbits, and 27,300 plants of grass. Okay. So those are the populations. That's what you want to fill in, these 4 boxes right here. So then you want to select the bar chart. Number 2 says select the bar chart and click play. So go to the bar chart up here, select that, and then this is your play button. So you can see right now these populations are 100% of the balance in this food chain. So this 100 is not the population, that's the percent of the balance. So that means that if the balance is 42, we have 100% of 42, that means we've got 42 hawks. Okay? So remember, this is percent over here. So when it tells you to click play, you're going to click this button here, and then the time passes right here in months. So if you pause, you can see this is after about 6 months. That's half a year. And you want to watch these bars and see what happens to these populations. Okay, so as you watch this, over time, you can see some of these numbers change, but not very drastically. So then you'll just watch that and answer these questions. Okay, there's some information in there. So that is the warm-up. Now, to do activity A, you want to reset. This is your reset button right there. So you click that to reset. You go back to the original populations and the original bar charts. Okay, so to run the gizmo with several different starting conditions is what we're going to do. Now you can use the plus minus buttons to change the population. You can use the disease buttons from these drop down lists. You can see healthy or disease. So if the rabbit population gets a disease, you can click that and see how that's going to affect all of the other organisms in this food chain. So you want to make a hypothesis right now. How do you think predator and prey populations affect one another? So remember, predators are the things that do the hunting and eating. The prey are the things that get eaten. So you're going to give a hypothesis on, how do you think they affect one another? Then here you're going to make some predictions. So the first thing you're going to do when you run this simulation like we just did, you are going to double the rabbit population. So make a prediction. If you double the rabbit population, what do you predict would happen to the grass population? You type that right there. If you double the rabbit population, what do you think will happen to the snake population? And if you double the number of rabbits, what will happen to the number of hawks? So look at the food chain over here. If instead of 2,566 we had like 5,000 some rabbits, what do you think is going to happen to the grass that they eat? And then what do you think is going to happen to the snakes that eat them? If now we have twice as many. And what do you think is going to happen to the hawks that eat the snakes that eat the rabbits? It's like, there was an old lady that swallowed a fly. It just, one eats the next, eats the next. She had a, I don't know if do you guys remember that song? Do you ever, we'll talk about it later. It's really a food chain in the woman, in the old lady's stomach. So, we can sing that together later. We'll have a sing along. So you want to give your predictions here. And then when you actually do this, you're going to complete the results. And then you're going to have the rabbit population. So instead of having 2,566, you're going to cut this in half. And how do you think the grass, the snake, and the hawk population is going to be affected? So then after you filled in your predictions, you're actually going to do this. So with the rabbits over here, okay, you're going to remove rabbits, or this is adding rabbits first. So if we have 100%, it says we want to double this, so we want to make that 200%. So watch the green rabbit bar as we go up there. Now we have 200%, a little over 200%, and then you'll click play and see what happens. And then to have the population, instead of 100, you want to take it down to 50. And then click play and see what happens. And then you can fill in your actual results in the table up here and answer these two questions. Okay, so then that continues on the next page. You're going to do the same thing for the snakes. You're going to double the snake population and half the snake population. Predict and then see what really happens. Then here you're going to double the hawk population and halve the hawk population, and predict and then see what really happens. Okay? And then you've got a couple final questions here, and you're finished for part 1. Okay, so once you're finished, make sure you click Turnitin. Now that was a quick run through of how to do the simulation. If you're still having trouble, please come to my office hours, or you can always see Ms. Seidler or Mr. Scorit for help as well. All right, so let's finish this out. Same daily reminders, make sure you're clicking Turnitin. It's due by midnight. Turning it in will let me know that it's ready to be graded. See me for help if you need it. And hey, I would love to see you guys. I would love to have a video chat. You know where my office is. Come in and see me. Especially with this, some people will have some trouble navigating their way around the simulation, so I would definitely love to work on that with you. We can share our screens and we can play with the simulation together and get that done maybe in less time than if you were doing it on your own. Maybe we can do some group work in my video chat, so please join me. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.